Aye.
Yo. Alright. Introducing Huni nani? Cheki. Alright. Hey, what's up? Yo. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Right. My name's KWB, that's who I be. Nikileta hapa nina speak, nina keep it real. Niko hapa Nairobi with the G's na tuna bring it. Tukileta hapa flame, tuna build it. Tunajua take back, tutakuwa the realest from the west side. Niki bring, nina breathe, check it hapa still. Niki introduce the realest GK. Akileta hapa kama WB, that's me, but ilibidi SOG. I take it over cause that's the king, take it.
Taking over waka take cover after mimi kwenye microphone. Mimi nina hover letter hapo kwenye nina small the meant to say something bad. Mimi tena siku bother vile ni
filter. Saa zingine ibidi feature
bana censorship board.
right.
Sogalo. Busy with the nouns zenye nina pronouns kila time nina think ni kama ziko profound. Pale nilifika juu hii flow ina sound kama wenye walishika mic wakiblow. How Biggie alisema hapo kwenye microphone vile nina keep it slow kila time na blow trombones just because nina so much to brag. Nilidhani nilikuwa nimestay searching class somesha ama nikiwafundisha Kenya wanasema kila time wanadai kuwika kila time wanasikiza jina yatoka kwa speaker kila time ninadhani kweli mawingu nafika Everest pale mimi nina chill Himalaya pale ila night mimi nina drill wanasema early morning zenye mimi nina spill zile rays zenye zina happen mimi nikikill
right.
Ala Buddha Sogalo. Mr. Prolific himself. Karibu sana msee. Karibu sana.
Asanteni.
Sasa sijui niongezee nini juu ya hiyo. What do I add on top of it? Nini niongezee juu ya hiyo? Sogalo, rapper, painter, nini ingine? Filmmaker.
Yeah, filmmaker.
Filmmaker ndio imekuja juzi.
Kwanza by this year ninaona ni kwa specific.
Uko specific aje?
D.O.P na filmmaking.
D.O.P na filmmaking.
Alafu na painting.
Ngoso tutupe tu switch.
Director of photography. Na handle lighting.
Ati anafanya nini? What are you doing?
Handle lighting, nafanya a lot of
that's the D.O.P. That's the
the D.O.P.
Okay.
That's basically my strong suit, but nataka tu kuingia into directing juu the process ya kuleta photography ukifanya project ukileta an idea together from the mind ni tu kuweza kuorganize vile inaweza happen na naona nikaa tu photography imekuwa inanitayarisha for that.
Photography has just been preparing you. Yeah. Actually Space Odyssey director hiyo movie anakuanga nani?
Stanley
Kubrick.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick started off as a photographer. Yeah, so that's why he's ukicheki he understands like how to pass on emotion na vitu simple sana. Like there's a shot of where Jack Nicholson kwa The Shining is supposed to cut down a door with an axe because he's gone crazy, he wants to kill his wife on the other side. So Kenya Kubrick alikuwa nafanya
Jack Nicholson.
What Kubrick was doing, instead of just putting the camera there and showing this guy blowing down the door, alifanya camera isonge na movement ya axe.
So unaona
so wewe kama viewer una feel to your impact by just that adding that one movement. You notice that you're following vile huo mtu anachapa hiyo, he's really striking it. So I actually think your pia inaweza kwa kitu because I've seen your work like cinematography. Okay. Is it a direction you'd like to go because you're pretty good at it kwanza na camera movements? Is it something you'd like to go into?
Yes.
What do you like about it sana inakuanga imekubamba hivyo in that sector?
Ni composition.
It's composition.
To make scene ikae captivating.
To switch goso.
Okay. so
Ngumu. Umesimama ukaangalia nyuma kwanza kumake sure nini?
Ni Joy Challenge level 2.
You're turning back to confirm. Is my level of Queen's language? Is it approved by the board of governors? By the regional representative. Hey, bwana Kiingereza. Kiingereza inatandazwa. So you are you picked out like there's a natural progression from photography to cinematography, yes? It's something that like assists in your process of creating the videos.
Yeah, okay. Let me just explain how mine goes, because I've met many photographers along the way, and they do really like horrible things to photos, and then they're like you can't tell them anything, so you just like you are the better photographer, but yet you're the humbler.
You can't correct them.
You can't correct them. You can't, because people like, it's like you board a matatu, and not everyone gets to where the matatu turns.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, my process was first of all, I after high school I joined college, and I learned I studied graphic design, and for the most advanced class at that time was Photoshop. That time it was Photoshop CS5. Not
the
actually
gray one.
No, not even CS5. CS.
CS.
Yes. When Photoshop was still brown. Yes, ndio age. Sasa when it came to learning Illustrator and InDesign, because it was in the package, they didn't have the software, and the teacher didn't know anything about InDesign and any. So I had to learn from tutorials. And first I had to download CS, and that time Illustrator, that time the advanced one was CS2.
Okay.
And it was just after that, I started digital painting already when I was in college, and that's how my boss, my boss's wife, my boss's co-boss. She saw, and then she was like, "This is awesome. I could use it in the studio." So when I went to the studio, it was just I'm the editor, but now you have to do things around like washing the printer and all these menial things that I didn't sign up for. But photography was tasking in the beginning, because I'm just photographing passports and then this basic Kodak, Ramogi studios lighting. No, this to Ramogi, but man, it was 2013.
Endorsements, Kata.
Ban. They need to pay me for endorsements. So, people were so basic, and it was not a creative task for me. So after 3 months, I was like, I'm done. So it's just the boss that told me that, just please stay, and then, so I stayed. And the moment I found about lighting processes now, kumbe you could learn techniques.
Okay.
And kumbe you could actually make a photo that actually looks nice. And
that's a surprise.
Yeah, it was a total surprise, because these are things you're just seeing in magazines, and you're like, they can't happen here. They can't happen here. But then here you find books that tell you how to do it
step by step.
Step by step. So I began, and it was just now I was a photographer. Now I just like
it's like collecting a series of cheat codes.
Yeah. But now you're okay. You're collecting a series of cheat codes, and they work. Then they give you the results they give you, because at that time, and people were just like, I was highly recommended at the place I was working. People are like, I've been sent to a specific person. He looks like this. And then at that time I didn't have a beard, but I was seriously shaggy. And since I was the top dog in the place, I didn't give a fuck about how I looked.
You became like Jay-Z. Once you have a few money.
Yes, exactly.
Dreads inapanda, the weekend ndio huyo. Dreads inapanda, you don't care anymore.
Yeah, so that was like, I had a few skills. Like in the end, you and your smartness, you're going to be sent back to call me
Hapo
to do the deed.
the same thing. So nikuulize, like unafanyanga, you do a lot of things. Kuna the Lineart, kuna, which one did you start with, the digital painting or the actual painting with the brush and whatnot? Because inaonekana ni kama you did things kind of what you'd expect it to be like in reverse.
Ni where I was thrown into, because if I didn't get that photography job, I would never have touched photography. I'm not even sure if I'd be doing films. So it was like a chance encounter.
Umerushwa tu pale.
Nimerushwa tu pale.
That kind of works.
The thing is that, and this is what I think about what is being creative, is that being creative is about how quick you adapt. And that means how quick you also come to solutions and how quick you create new things. It's a mental process.
Okay.
It's not like some fantasy lightning when you were born.
It's not nini, sio kitu just doesn't fall from anywhere.
No. It's just that romanticizing things is fun because it gives fantasy, like it allows people to imagine.
Okay.
And I think they restrict their imagination to even like when people see like a streak of, let's say someone, so Pollock.
Jackson.
Yeah, the way he just used to drip paint all over the place. And people like the madness because his portrayal of what he's doing, he's giving them a chance to imagine something. And now, like, it's a breath of fresh air for the mind. It's like you're dreaming when you're awake.
When you're saying like Pollock's work was more of a nini, like so it's not like an exhibition, like a performance.
Yes. A performance, and also an provocation.
Provocation.
Yeah.
Because there's a large painting of his that's being digitized. I looked at it. It's the size of this wall, man. Nikaangalia, and like, man, ilikuwa, sijui nasemaje. It kind of hurts the eyes, kind of after some time. Ukiangalia for too long. But the value that's been put on it by virtue of
being a Pollock.
So is it being a Pollock? Is it a, so nakumbuka tukiongea hii kitu nini about modern art na wewe mbeleni, is it about the more bizarre the better?
I think bizarre has something to do with it because art is something that supposed to, okay, there's this quote we have in our book. It's a Banksy quote. He says he had done some graffiti. Art is meant to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. It is art. Okay, I've actually gotten art is supposed to be able to make you imagine, and that is not like a duty of art. That's the power of art. Nika ukwe na $1 million sahi. You can now buy things. You can now make things happen. You can pay people to carry you on their backs to Baka Kamul, and they'll be like, then the things, it gives you opportunities.
Okay. But there's still a choice. But there's still a, okay, art is...
Art, the power of art is the ability to make a person imagine.
So it's not a duty, it's just an ability for it to...
Yeah, it's just an ability. Now, where you take it is now up to you. It's like how much you spend it, how much you spend the power. Sasa, with modern art is really contextual because there was a time, and there's also a reason why we don't understand it is because that there was a time in US. So, in the 60s where they had this... The youth are against the old, and then the citizens against the war, and then there's the Cold War, Russia against there was a lot of
civil unrest.
Yeah, and there was a lot of changing from the old. It was a time of change.
Yeah.
So people were now questioning ideas. What does it mean to be an art in the gallery? For example, Sasa, what does it mean? So remember there's that installation where they had a chair, and then they had a picture of a chair, and then they had a note imeandikwa a chair. So, which one is the chair? It's like the way Nani Picasso used to have like a photo of someone asked him, "I don't like your art; it's so ugly. Those people don't even look realistic." So he asked that guy, "Do you have a photo in your wallet?" "Yeah, I have a photo." The guy chucks a photo of his wife, and then Picasso is like, your wife is really beautiful, and she's also really flat." The idea is that how are you saying that my work is not realistic? It's work on a canvas.
It's there.
You are the
It's
one who
real.
is realistic. You're the one who is the physical. I'm creating something else. If I can make you imagine, then the work of the art has begun.
So ungesema, like, you could say that like modern art isn't really like a form of art like the Renaissance, like, but it's like a process. It's like really a route to somewhere else.
A route to, I think modern art just gave a context of imagination, because it, first of all, it's like contextual. The context is like American 50s, those eras. So we who have not gone through those things, we don't understand them. But what do we have? That's the thing. Yani, it's not like an institution. I think people just manage to get away with it, like abstract art. Abstract art is another good example. For example, Joy Richu Hola.
.com.
Joy Richu test 3 level 3. Joy Richu's work, I like the way like she puts the colors. You know, the colors are really vibrant and zime match. Do you use the color wheel or something? Okay.
Focus on your podcast. Well.
Shit. Vanish. Okay, so. Joy Richu left the building. Yeah. So, Yani, like, descriptively, you can say at okay, I see this and this and this, but whatever has caught your eye is more than the description. That this is a man in a casket. But the more it sparks something extra, like an extra activity in your brain, that is the engine that art,
it makes you imagine.
Yeah.
So ni kama nani, it's like the flurry of nini artwork that influenced so much that came out of Nani's failures, Jodorowsky. Unakumbuka waki yake, because Jodorowsky, if he was allowed to make that movie, probably it wouldn't have been good. Probably people wouldn't, because he could have made it 7 hours, 8 hours, and people wouldn't sit down in the theater for that long. But he made those people imagine in such a way that they, like, one of the graphic artists, one of the guys as an artist on the project is the one who designed the monster for Alien. And he was the same guy who, and he actually designed that monster for Jodorowsky's movie, but since the movie wasn't made, the monster was passed on, kind of, because in the book, in the Jodorowsky production, the monster was supposed to be a house. Yeah, he'd created the monster of Alien to be a building for the evil guy. It looks like that head from the Alien. The
head from the Dune.
Dune.
You remember the Harkonnen?
Harkonnen, yeah.
Yeah, his palace was him.
It actually, hey man, that guy was like alikuwa na cast he's a truly despicable villain by sight. By tukumuona. His fat is obese, and then he builds a castle that
looks like
that
him.
Is a fat obese like sculpture of himself. And you enter it through the mouth. Ushamuona before umuone. As in, hey.
They used it in Prometheus.
Yeah, they used it like in Prometheus. Prometheus ili disappoint.
The Prometheus was I don't know when like sometimes people interfere in storytelling.
Should I explain?
Yani, for example, Jodorowsky's if he had the ability to make the movie, he would have made it. But this is where you get to see you're working with, you're working with forces beyond the ones you use when creating, because you see, like the creation, the like creating the art, it's a really fun. Okay, it's not a fun process, but it's a kind of a
Rabbit
nice
hole.
roller coaster. But now, like putting your work out there and just working with human nature, it's now another game you have to be adapt.
Politics.
Yeah, it's some politics, but we can't do with politics because politics is a social construct. Yeah.
Politics is a social construct.
For example, people. So you have been employed. You've been employed before.
Yeah.
So you have seen like people who don't have like a vision of ever leaving the job.
Yeah.
They engage in the pettiest things.
The gossip in the office.
The gossip in the office.
The nonsense.
But it's because that is the construct. That's the society. That's the social life they have. So it's just here and there.
Oh, indoor game here too. This is our game.
But like when you go somewhere else, the social construct will have to like mold you for you to just stay there vizuri.
I've mentioned this guy before when I was talking to Bell, Ricardo Semler. He has this company where if you finish your job by I think by Tuesday, even if Monday to Tuesday, I'll go home. If you reach your target by Tuesday, we don't want you here. And he started buying a day from his employees. Because he doesn't want nonsenseism of his politics and whatever.
Yeah.
I think he started buying a day from his employees, like we want to choose Wednesday, and I will pay you for that day not to come to work. As long as on one condition, you have to pick something you have to do outside work which we will fund. So for instance, let's say you want to be like a really good swimmer. So they facilitate that. They get a trainer for you.
Wow.
Your do angekulipa, your siku goes into paying that trainer for you to develop that skill. Ndio kuna something else more important to you than hii ofisi. Wacha kutusumbua hapa. Stop disturbing us with your nonsense. Because there's this coach in American football who was saying that it's like human beings have the tendency to unless you pump them, they won't go uphill. They are like water. So you create, politics is a social construct. You create a new construct, that kind of is idiot-proof. You get in a cater for like the word idiot-proof. I got it from a software engineer. They create apps to make them idiot-proof. Like anybody mwenye akiingia and they click on it can use it. It's not made for some PhD Sheldon Cooper, a Big Bang Theory kind of nonsense kind of guy. It's made for he hasn't touched a book. That person. So hey, hiyo nimeenda trajectory. Paka nikapotea. I'm even lost of where we were supposed to be. So yeah, ilikuwa Lineart. We could get into Lineart. There's something I like about your work, the way you pick up things, like the way you picked up photography and it took you there. You learned Lineart from our common friend. He started it before you. I remember we were neighbors, and then that's when I met you. And at that time, you were just starting it. And then at some point, I showed your work to Peter, Zeus. Peter was convinced that you're mad. He hadn't met you. He saw your work today. He just looked at it. Akarudisha kando akasema, there's no possible way this guy is saying. Because you had drawn an entire page of doodling and there are images inside. So like, do you have an image of what's it gonna look at the end? Or you kind of make that decision in the spur of the moment as you're moving through the work?
I make it at the spur of the moment because usually it's like a map. I kind of distill this Elon Musk ways. Like it's personally it's like a formula I have where I just say every thought I have in my mind is aligned, because me when I get in my space I'm just chilling, but you don't know I'm having like 35 conversations in my head and just 5,000 Rubik's cubes.
Trying to solve them.
Yeah, yes. And then you're having like epiphanies just exploding in your mind, and then you're just like, I can't. Let me just keep it. Like, but when the moment you solve it, and if it hasn't altered your decisions in a way, it just becomes like random chatter that happened in your mind. So I just said, let's just translate them all into lines. So whenever my Lineart forms something concrete, like we all agree that this is actually a person, because most people are have visual recognition instincts. So they're like, oh, there's a face. And then now when they look at it further, now in their minds, like it's like the lines also represent other things in their minds, like the 5 angles match up to something, and then it's no longer the same thing. People are like, we can't agree on what this exact thing is. And I was, okay, first of all, I was taken aback because people would come and ask me questions like, see, this thing is this. And then there are two people, different things, and then you just have to cut the baby in half.
Solomon. Because what you're saying is almost, it's very true to what you said earlier, that the artist's job is to make people imagine.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're drawing, it's exploration.
Yeah, it is exploration for me.
So unaanza tu na wewe.
Naanza tu na mimi, and then it's like I'll do this, and then I'll think of I'll just push it next. And that's also something I've applied on freestyling. You're just like, I may talk about this cup, put it on my lap. Maybe Nina eza acha hapa tu kurap because I'm in this room. Maybe Nina eza bonga, maybe so. Like it's something. You just catch the next one, and just trust that you'll get a line. You just draw a line, and it's just a line.
Una trust true.
Yeah. You don't know, but it will match because it's usually connected. It's usually one long line.
That's one of the most childlike things in Shaiskia. Because that's what a kid does. The kid doesn't, as in they start and they just trust that, okay, this is going to work out.
Yeah.
Ndio kwa maana wanakuwa so self-sure about themselves. They don't self-edit while they are making. I had this story from I don't know, Robert something, Robertson, mwenye alikuwa anafanya stories of education, the guy with the limp on TED Talks. He talked about this kid, they went for a nativity play. So the part of the three unacheka bro. Umenyongwa. Pole bro, pole. Tutaedit. Hakuna edit. Inaingia. For people to know that you're human. So it's this kid doing the birth of Jesus play. And 3 kids walk in who are playing the 3 wise men. So the first kid says, I bring you gold. The second kid says, I bring you Maya. The third kid says, Frank sent this. And he says it with all the confidence in the world. It's one of the best stories in Shaiskia because of that day, that guy was talking about creativity and where it comes from and why it's so prevalent in kids, but it's not like, it's reduced in adults because adults are self-editing. They don't like to, what you're saying with freestyle, just trust I'll get it going forward. So the kid is like, oh, Frank sent this. That's what Kenyan nimeshika. And when the audience laughs, he thinks I've done a good job. As in, I was self-assured.
It worked.
Oh my God. I want that. I want. Sometimes I see glimpses of it, and sometimes I fall under the pressure of like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah. So like, kuna tools and tricks za kupata hiyo kutrust the process.
I don't know. Okay. it's more like a personal decision, something close to that. Nika kuokoka. It's it's when you decide that you'll just jump off the cliff. You might flap and fly like
You never know.
You never know. You never know. Because, okay, for example, like, I could say the specific, because, okay, the line art, it was a bit more structured because, and it was also, by the way, I grew it out of imagination. Because when we're doing the line art, our mutual friend, he just does like one
line, one continuous
one
line.
continuous line and is done.
That's it. That's unbroken.
Yeah. Me, previously, I was doing realistic pencil drawing. Yeah, and from there, like after when I quit my job, I'd already been doing like doodles on the back of receipts. So I was used to doing a pen. So I just developed the skill. I learned from scratch drawing with the pen like in 1 year. The work you've seen is like from 1 year old going on.
Nani mingi, cause I've seen you. I've been around you a lot when you're creating. As in Kenya nakwanga impressed na the amount of work you churn out. Inakuanga mingi. As in if you put, as in like these folders and folders of this guy's work. Nazani nimepitia. Now this work is lost.
Yeah.
Had disk mbili. That thing is painful.
It is painful.
Yeah.
But the first time I lost things, I'd just recovered from depression. So I was just like, if I'd killed myself 3 weeks ago, this wouldn't have meant shit because I'd have lost now everything.
Yeah, it's not just the hard disk.
Yeah, it's not just the hard disk. So the second time I lost another one, I was like, people were so surprised how calm I was because I was like, Malia Dunia, because this is not the first time, but it's made me more vigilant and careful. But personally, I usually don't think I'm that aggressive.
I think I've lost my work twice. A hard disk and a laptop. Both of them robberies.
At me, both of them.
And the weird thing is just, I went home, ate and slept. As in it didn't really like kind of phase me as much as like when I think. If I lose my work, I'll go like bonkers. It's almost like, I dare say, it's almost like like you have a certain level of reassurance in your own work. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much I'm producing that it's not even an issue anymore. As in hizi vitu ndakuwa nazitema every day. So hii tu ni ya kwanza. Pesa zikuwa kali vile.
But the moment you like when you teach yourself, the moment you know that you can actually improve by teaching yourself, you just know that it's in your hands to get better. And you are just like, okay, the other work, it was the old me. I love with this now it's something different, and then you just keep going on. So some of it is usually intent. Yeah, you intend kabisa to say that I'm not going to do anything ordinary. I have this idea, but if it looks ordinary, that's the first draft. Now you just add more drama, and that's how I develop my style for photography, because I used to work with like ordinary people, and people are stiff. People are like, they have their own limits of stretching and moving. So there are things you can't tell people to do. Sana the old people, and you still have to make them look nice. So I learned how to work with someone's ability, and also now identify the level of drama I can extract from them. So that's where I started working with specific models. Me, when I choose a model, you remember when we were doing the kuku, you just told me I need a big guy like this, and then I just told you I just got
as in the first guy you recommended ilikuwa huyo.
The
first guy I recommended. It was that guy.
The lady model, I want someone foxy.
Hiyo tu the exact, even for Wango. Because Wango ilikuwa a tricky one, because we needed a model who alikuwa over 6 feet. of which sasa hiyo if only 2% of the planet is over 6 feet tall, then it inaanza kuwa even trickier. Most of the people who are over 6 feet tall tayari ni guys. So you reduce even the number even more. She needs to have like super dark skin. You reduce the even more. She can't be. You reduce 10 and reduce, and then. But the first guy you recommend, the first lady you recommended, liangalia tu hivi nikaingia tu Instagram yake. We need to hook up a meeting with this lady. See, much of that comes from listening.
Yeah. It comes from listening, and that's actually where I develop my social skills, because naturally I'm I won't say you could say introverted, but I'm not really good at it with people outside of my interests, because the only time I've had to deal with people I've been in school, and then after school there's like some serious alone time, because at that time, remember that time, that's when still people were chilling for 2 years kabla they go to uni. So me, I didn't get to 2, but I got to like 1.5, and it's long when you are Form 4. Leave a manze.
You need to move and you need to do stuff.
You need to do stuff. Uzuri, I spent that time now like practicing how to draw, and that's why like I come to the process of self-education, and it's not because it is self-education, it's because they're also educating you on how to work on how to be creative. The thing is, we don't usually take into context the education we were set up for, because first of all, this education was it was like a British curriculum, because even after the Mpia one, they had to consult the British for the new curriculum.
This one?
Yes.
Serious?
Yeah, they did.
That's strange. See, education is supposed to be adaptive to the environment.
Yeah.
It is adaptive to their environment of being our oppressors.
The thing is, the context here is that when the Europeans came here, they had like serious economic problems, and also war. They had wars, and wars are seriously expensive. In fact, war is like betting. I am going to fight you, and I am going to spend a lot of money doing that, hoping that when I beat you, I'll make the money back from your plunder. That is war. And so when
Economics 101.
Economics 101, piracy. The high seas are now the highlands. So when they came here, they were like resources, like just picking. So they had to train workers. So they had to train them to take instructions, to obey, and to not do anything beyond the ordinary. And that was the context where the school was set, because now it's easier to rule, because you are denying these people some rights so that they could work for you. Remember how heart tax was implemented?
Yeah. Matiti tax. You know about Matiti tax?
No, I don't know about Matiti tax.
There's heart tax and there's Matiti tax.
That when you don't wear what?
Yeah, see, like how many hats do you have on your property? You pay a tax for all of them. How many Matitis on your property? Pay tax for that as well.
And you see, the reason why they were saying they want to, do you know why they implemented the tax? They implemented...
Matitis are breasts for those people who don't know.
Matitis, yeah.
Just in case.
Images. Matitis in English is matiris.
It has traversed so many borders and so many cultures.
We have common interests. So the purpose of the tax was to make these people need money so that they could go and work in the farms to afford the tax. So now the education system
It's trained for you to be prepared to pay tax so that you can continue working.
Yes, okay. There's that,
it's almost like an oversimplification, but there's some reasoning behind it. There's some diabolical smartness to it.
There is some diabolical smartness because colonialism was an economic activity. Our education system is another economic activity. Any skill you learn is for an economic activity, or you'd like it to be an economic activity when, you won't mind if you get paid for what you like doing, sindio? So they didn't factor for creativity. And you remember how artists were, it was like, you're doing that thing. It was called that thing until it made money. Oh, now, watoto endeni shangtao. It was given that so that they could discourage people from
engaging in an activity that doesn't make money, kind of.
Yes.
That they don't see it can't be put on a conveyor belt.
Creativity breeds rebellion.
Yes, creativity is not good for a system that works on routine basis.
I think the previous podcast with Richu, kwa tumeongea ilikuwa ni Richu doesn't, I think details kama hizo sio lazima. About like the first people Hitler got rid of in Paris after he took over. He took over France for the artists. He didn't go after the police, the soldiers, MP, Embakasi, Nata. He went for the artists who could draw graffiti on the walls and said, okay, we need to put as many of these people in prison first of all, and those cafes we have to close them down kwanza. These people can't be meeting ovyo. Because the guy himself was an artist na alikuwa anajua. All it needs to start civil unrest here is just one ballsy person to go to and draw a cartoon of me on a wall somewhere and people to see it.
Yeah.
They'll get the confidence knowing there's somebody who was
bold enough
to actually do this, so that it means they could be two. Two,
they could
four.
be
It's 4, they could be 8. By the end of the day, it's 128. And secondly, it's funny.
It's funny that he did that.
It's funny, so if it's funny, if people laugh at you, that's why dictators have a problem with comedy. There's no comedy in countries with solid dictators. As in, dictator ule mbaya ati. There's a friend of mine, and show ati in Burundi, he came to Kenya. He's a videographer. He saw XYZ. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. You're making fun of the president. As in their country, if you even just mention him in a private conversation somewhere, you could disappear. Tebu tafakari hayo. Kuna this discussion that was happening between George R. Martin and Stephen King. And they were talking about George R. Martin akauliza Stephen King, like, how do you write so much? Sindio? So akasema ati, okay, what I do is, because George R. Martin hata kumaliza Game of Thrones. That's why they had to guess the last season.
And horribly they did.
So Stephen King akasema, to quote Joy Richu, I purpose myself. I purpose myself to write 6 pages. Okay, you only half yake too. I purpose myself to write 6 pages a day and as cleanly as possible. So 6 pages times, even if it's 300 days a year, that's like 1,800 pages. That's 4 novels. So ndo kwa maana alikuwa anaweza kuzichana out hivyo. And one of the things that I think they touched on in that is that turning pro is not just about you're showing up to work like Eminem every day to do your job. It's also that you understand that your job is done for money. They kind of touched on that. Is it iko accurate Kenya nasema, or what would you like to?
Okay, juu naangalianga pia ukiangalia like historical the archaeological sites. The one time when the art is the part of the artifacts are like products of art are the ones that usually tell how things were. For example, ancient Egypt, they dig out sarcophaguses, but what it's written on, what it's drawn on, tells how things were, ama how, and that includes the propaganda of the rulers of the day. For example, Egyptians had beef with Nubians. But yeah, there's a time they had beef. But Nubians were better warriors than Egyptians. So Egyptians would just wish that they would beat Nubians. It wasn't that you are sure bet. Egyptians were not like consistent winners of wars.
They were merchants mostly.
Yeah, they were merchants mostly. So, but you find the ruler has that they're in a war, and then they have their lions, and then they are killing Nubians, and you're like, yeah, nice one.
Ngumu sana.
Alafu then you also find the day-to-day items, sandals, containers, pots, they draw something, and you see whatever is drawn on them now tells how conditions were when that thing was being used.
Okay.
There's carbon dating, but we can't tell the picture unless someone did a picture.
Yeah.
For example, the one that's really surprising for people is that Sahara Desert. People thought that it was a desert at Isjui. Some meteor came and smashed Earth and killed all the dinosaurs and made the Sahara Desert. Sahara Desert was a swamp. It was a swamp savanna. And there are people who drew on rocks about how there were lakes with crocodiles, like giant crocodiles. And then there were savannas, someone drew like a giraffe. You can only see it from above because ilichongwa on like a flat slab of rock.
Okay.
A giraffe and the calf.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was a vibrant wildlife. People even used to have cattle here, and then sasa pia there were some drawings found.
Even the pieces of wood that were found there, they're like
stone
wood, like calcified timber from large trees that is just somewhere randomly in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
You are like, how? So there was even there's someone who carved that cows crying because he couldn't find water for them. That's when now the drought set in. It's a popular, ukiangalia like Sahara Desert art, ancient art, you'll find it. So what was the point here?
Turning pro.
Oh yeah, so you see, like that's besides. So that's you see like there are two ways of how art is portrayed in relation to history. Or historical, in the past.
Yeah.
There is the story of the times and there is the function of the times.
Okay.
Yeah, that is, for example,
like the story of the times is propaganda.
Story of the times, there is propaganda, but also there is, for example, tukisema manze unye alidishidoaka akasonga nayo na sahii roiko ya 5 bob ni 7 bob. That's not propaganda. You
cancel him.
But there's also, you see now the rulers of the times, they're able to fund their propagandas. There you go, 5 feet statues. Kim Jong-un, like like a whole, what was that? This Kim Jong-un, there's Kim Jong-il. Who's the
grandfather?
The grandfather.
The grandfather fought the greatest battle ever seen. Wait, the story about that guy.
Propaganda campaign.
You won't even believe it. Manze, Marvel have nothing on those people.
True.
Nothing.
Hey. So these powerful people are able to fund their propagandas. You can say you did something really great, but it's because you have a really awesome way or inspiring way of present. Just the way Caleb said about it. When you come and say, wow, hey, manze, unajua kuna msanii anaitwa Washira, and then you just use 5-syllable words describing Washira, and then people are like, when you show up, they're like, wow, you're the one. It's just like that awesome moment. So the thing is, when we are doing our art, how can it meld into people's daily lives? That's where you come to. When I sell that piece, I am like, this piece is a thing, is a story. In that piece there is the there's that Illuminati thing. The pyramid with the eye in the middle, but it's about opening the eye of insight. It's what ancient Egyptians used to do when you go to their universities/temples. Wanataka kuenlighten, they wake you up. There's like, I put things that have personal meanings hapo hivyo. But when I sell it to someone, it's something that will look good on their wall. And that is what it is. If you want that person's money, that is what you're going to use.
They want it to look cool.
That's what they're going to use it for. So when you come to say that, okay, because visual art, visual arts, sana we've dealt with myths of visual art. And
one,
yeah. And one of those myths is that if I draw a piece, it's supposed to be like expensive. But why is it expensive? Because there's some popularity around the art, probably instigated by the artist. People like Pablo Picasso, people like tuseme tu sana rulers. Rulers are like sana those ones who have used extensively entertainment as a means of propaganda. For example, Hitler again. Hitler, he hired a filmmaker to make pro-Nazi films. Zenye, like, and it was very purposeful.
Quentin Tarantino, that was the name of that movie.
Inglourious
Bastards. It's about that, by the way.
Sasa, Inglourious Bastards is kind of the opposite. Just Hitler dies. And he dies in a really...
in fantastic way.
But unaonanga the setup. Sasa, the artist has to now like snap into reality. Now snapping into reality, see ati, man, it's not as shiny as I thought. It's so drab and Holocaust. Snapping into reality is taking in what, like, looking at reality and adding reality to the artwork. Like connecting the art to the reality. Because the point is now that if my art is supposed to inspire you to be imaginative, my job then is to be able to get it to you. But sasa, here is where we don't get it, because visual artists, kawaida we are sold, art is sold for us by galleries. So the gallery says, I just want your bio. Take your bio now, so wow, they'll use it to sell the art. But now they're doing the work you are supposed to be aware of, being the artist who needs to sell art. Yeah. But they're saying, no, don't touch anything. We'll just do everything for you. We'll just do everything for you. And with music, it becomes worse because now they drag the artist. Dragged you, partied out, you're drowned in anasa, like just to keep you out of the business part.
The business part is like 95% of everything.
Which is like 95% of everything for what you deem as success being an artist. Now, the other artists, the young artists, look at you and they think that you made all these things happen. But you're just a
cog in a machine.
Yeah, a cog in a machine. Yeah.
But now there's the possibility of like people liberating themselves from that kiasi yake, considering now we have tools that no other generation has ever had.
Yeah, we have tools that no other generation has ever had, but I'm concerned about the implementation of those tools. Because right now with the internet, there's no other time our perception of reality has been molded. Hard. Yani, people, right now, the reason why there's all this anti-cancel culture and all these Twitter flares and all these online kids become so serious is because that the screen has replaced people's glasses. People are now defining reality according to what people say reality is. And that's why you find like seriously entitled opinions. And people just say these things as if they have with such finality, you're like, if I almost took you seriously.
They're very loud.
Yeah, they're very loud. They're very loud.
But doesn't mean they're right. Just loud doesn't make you right.
Now this has also given this has just made it easier for those people who use artists to use artists. For example, where would I be doing a logo for Tusker because they want to rebrand? They would just go and get someone. Hey, do you know a guy? Yes, I know a guy. This guy, call this guy. Okay, now this is the guy. But now that they have an opportunity to pull off a scheme where they get like 1,000 submissions, where they'll just have to choose 10.
Which one is the way they can sort through?
To the extent of making you promote that logo for them that they haven't bought yet.
The growth hack it.
Unacheki it, the growth hacking. Now, the thing is, as artists, we need to wake up. We need to wake up and use these tools to, like, we need to reimagine how we are using these tools, because even how marketing is done, and sana social media marketing, it's really impulse oriented. 10 ways to grow your Instagram account in a year. And it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. How many people have watched this video? 95,000. So how many people are actually going to do this? Let's just take 20,000. 20,000, the result of 20,000 is Nairobi bloggers with the same accent, same type of content.
Hi guys,
welcome to my channel. Same.
We are reviewing. Changing my outfit.
Because because it's impulse. They've not sat down and said, how does this thing work? Let us look at how it works. For example, right now, like social media influencers are getting proper bank, but how did it happen? Now, they could do a YouTube video, how this happens. But unless you go and study the mechanism, you're going to think that they got the gospel truth. But maybe probably opening a blog is the trending thing, and they know how many people want this information. Wengine not to do because like 20% will apply, but at least there are 80% suckers who are going to like, I want to be an influencer. It would be nice being an influencer. She went to Diani. Why not? But
they don't do the math of how many of them went to Diani.
Yeah.
Because in Ezekwa, like 3 of them out of 100, which is now 3%.
Nah, by the way, why they went to Diani? Not at a how. Kuna how na why. Because I want the people who watch you to watch me too. Now you come back to the currency. What are you selling to those people who you want to pay you? This art, I know how this art could be sold like 1 million shillings. Just attach it to a cause and have the starting price. Alas, I have emotionalized that cause to the extent like marketing out uskume.
Kuiyu alikuwa anapenda kusema. Kuiyu mentioned that thing last time he was here. Alikuwa anasema like the selling of art is there's a very high level of manipulation that goes into it. The way they are doing a renovation for a family, it's like extreme makeover, but they tell you all these stories about this son and about what they did, and you're there to see a house being rebuilt. But you watch it even more knowing all these problems that they have. Manipulation. And it sells.
And it becomes manipulation when it's not an intent of the artist to get the idea out, but more of an intent of the gallery to sell the idea as an attractive thing to buy. Because, for example, there's this thing that has happened to abstract art where sometimes like you're not even sure if it's art. You're not like it looks okay. It looks good. It's a nice color disturbance on the wall. But if it does not spark inspiration, it's not doing something beyond what it is as a physical thing. Now that compounds that is a result of the myth of art. Like, okay, it's supposed to be interesting. You don't know why someone pays like 80,000 for something. I'm 100,000. You just want to get out there and slap these zeros on your canvas and just wait.
See, that's what I was mentioning earlier. That's a problem a lot of people who will be publishing NFTs will face. They don't have an audience.
They don't have an audience. And NFT is more of a social thing because it's just like stocks. Stocks, people are like, this stock is coming up, yeah, it's improving, then people panic, like they rush buy into it, and then when like the price is over there now, no one really wants it, and then a crisis comes, and then people fear, run, panic sell. Unaona, and then you just have to wait on the other side with a basket, collect. So you just have to be patient enough not to be messed around because of human nature. You just have to hold back kidogo tu and see, okay, it's swinging this way, let me wait it here. It's swinging this way. But in the end it's just human nature. And that's what is going to happen with NFT. You just can't come and say, I'm selling one nini ati my... There's people selling their artworks for crazy prices. They don't know how people make money through NFT. They don't know if people are money laundering through NFT. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know the
environment.
Yeah, they just want some miracle to happen. Like you close your eyes and you hope you don't hit a tree on your way out, but you hope to get to where you're going. That's the ridiculous thing about.
Kuna hii nini unakumbuka? I'll go back to film again. Like the story of a director who has produced a film that received so many awards and so much accolade and then left him in bankruptcy in Kenya. Ziko mob.
Yeah.
Like everybody is critically acclaimed. No money in it. Because kuna something that like people in the visual space go for. Kuna hii pizzazz of like it's being seen. They feel like they are being seen as well. And they forget there's the nuts and bolts of how to keep this machine running.
Yeah.
So, as we had discussed earlier, it's going back to how do you attach your art to like a product? How do you convert it to something else so that your art becomes an ad for what's being exchanged in people's hands? So, like one of the weirdest statistics is that the owners of film theaters don't make money from the film tickets. They make money from the popcorn and the candy. That's what they're looking at. Manipata. So it's a very tricky scenario, and it's something we really need to start thinking about how we convert our art into products.
Yeah, into products.
I think ni kitu tunaweza ingilia tena huko mbele. Yeah. Sawa. So Sogalo ningetaka urudi tena. Wewe tunaweza kaa hapa sana. You need to come back and we talk about Afro Renaissance and the inspirations and why it's mimi kwangu Afro Renaissance is like it's bigger than Black Panther kiroho safi, because Black Panther was almost like executive decisions. So it came to Africa, tukaiona, tukaanza kushanga like kuna kitu I'm not understanding hapa exactly what's happening. Afro Renaissance is almost the same thing. You're trying to open people's eyes. I think we need to get to that and we need to set a date for that.
Yeah.
Sasa Sogalo kama kawaida, Mr. Prolific, nimeshukuru sana.
Yes.
On the side hapo backup rapper wako ilikuwa Kale.
Bana keeping it real. MCs got to have MCs too. Nani true MCs kwenye MICs, yani eyes in between the MC mic, yani that's how we do.
Bana.
Yes,
yeah.
Sogalo, thank you very much and tapatana.
Sawa.